So glad you're here because tonight we're going to be doing some stuff that's, well, kind of different. And by different, I mean that we're going to be exposing some of the unscrupulous, maybe, or maybe just downright misinformed testing of some channels. Now, I'm going to say this. No test is perfect. No channel is perfect. I make more mistakes than everybody. But we're going to look at some of the biggest channels on YouTube as far as teletesting goes. And we're going to show, well, maybe some of the deceptions that they have been practicing. And we're only going to look at the biggest. We're not going to go out with like small channels like mine. We're going to look at the big guys and we're going to call them out as we see them, and we're going to let the chips fall where they may. Some people might like it, some people might hate it, but it's going to be honest regardless of how people feel about it. We have no interest in trying to deceive anyone. And I'm going to say I hope is a strong word, that other channels wouldn't go out of their way to deceive you. But I think I've got a really good example queued up, the very first one of a channel that is definitely trying to deceive. So I hope you all can hear me. I don't know if my audio is working or what. Hey, Jamie True. Hello, Mark D. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Give me a thumbs up or a hell yeah if you can hear me. And we'll get into this. Just wanted to pop in and say you are a great looking man. Well, thanks, Brian. I'm not interested. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. B Dubs, Gear Spin, Budsville. Panther, you're here. Panther, as long as I don't look like you, my day's better than yours. So I'm literally gonna, thank you, Mr. Hungry. I'm literally gonna flip this around, my camera, because I got a TV kind of aimed right behind me. And it's a brand new TV to me. He needs an eye test. Loud and clear, thank you. Whoever's got the message held, I can't see it, and I'm not gonna look. So there you go. Is this Dirk? Well, your mom does call me the Diggler. There you go. Anyway, the first one is from a channel I guarantee a lot of you guys have watched in the past if you're not currently watching them. And before I even hit play, I'm going to show you how I know they doctored this video. So let's just do this and come in here. Do you see that screw right there? The one that's in the center of the screen? Look at the bottom. There's some wood chips there, but there is also a marking around that hole. And that marking is from either driving that screw down a good share of the way and then backing it out, or drilling a pilot hole. And then you look at the other screw, look how clean that is. Almost as if they had just started it and done nothing. Isn't that something? Now watch. We're gonna try to zoom out here just a little bit so you all can see it. I'm not gonna try to advertise for these guys. That is certainly not tactics. It's if you like Willy Wonka, you'll know who that is. You may have seen him singing songs to children. Anyway, remember the one on the right was the rigid, and you see the winner there. Just watch it again. You see a forged battery on the Milwaukee, an 8 amp hour on the rigid. But if you had watched before, and we'll try to stop it again. Right here, if you look at the difference in the screws, look, you can see it right there. You can see that they were deceptive in their approach to this. These dudes, for whatever reason, hi Juan, have decided, have decided that maybe scamming people is the best way to promote their channel. I don't know why anyone would do that, but they are certainly not the only channel that will do this. What the hell is this? DJ Deja Vu. I am exposing tool testing channels for some of their less than scrupulous practices. And this was just one example of that. And now I'm going to back out and flip the camera back toward me. Sorry, Panther, it's still my face, not yours. Yo, bro. I just thought you guys would be interested in seeing that, but they are certainly not the only channel that is out there trying to deceive you. That was just one that I had come across. Actually, hi, Rodney, because you guys had pointed it out to me. I don't watch their channel very often. At least I try not to watch their channel very often. Hi, you boy. And when I do and I see something like that, it kind of makes me go like, well, I was right for not watching their channel. Here's another thing. I've mentioned this, I don't know how many times. Brothers of Elon, I don't even know what that means. By the way, I'm Cody. Oh, what's up, Cody? Mr. Hungry is Cody Brown, the DeWalt man himself. I didn't know who you were, but I appreciate you letting me know. Thanks, Cody. DeWalt for the win, though, is the moral of the story. Maybe. Okay, maybe. Who does shorts? Who always, like, they're seeing it before, and always can you have... Oh, I don't know who you're talking about. Another week oh yeah. So here's, love your channel, peace and blessings. Thanks, Javon. So it's not just VCG. VCG is probably the easiest one to see, to point out and show, because that's kind of their thing. All right, Cody. Thanks. A Blu-ray collection. I appreciate that. Why do I have a poster of Richard Simmons behind me? To remember that if he's behind me, I should continue to run. With competition comes quality, no longer creative or informative. Well, the thing is, like, I don't know that a lot of these channels are doing it on purpose. I take a look at like guys like Project Farm, and I think everybody likes or has enjoyed Project Farm over the years, and he's certainly really good at what he does. We all know that he's going to repeat. Well, we're going to test that about 30 times in a video. But he is not above reproach when it comes to certain things. He's not much of a, VCG is a promoter. He's not much of a tool tester. Well, he's most known for tool tests, right? Tool Test Live or Tool Test Raw is how they got known, and that's kind of how everybody came to really watch and enjoy him. Looking to nuclear, whatever, Vernon. It's not somebody, Vernon's got a mental health issue. From loving DeWalt to Milwaukee to Flex, kind of follow the money. So anyway, we'll go back to Project Farm. He's certainly not above reproach. And I remember the first time I really noticed that something was amiss with his channel. And what I mean by that, I don't mean that he was faking tests. I don't think he does that. But what I mean by that is that homeboy was maybe uninformed about tools and how batteries work. And I'm sure he's gotten better over the years and whatnot. Although the last several that I've seen from him, he still has different size batteries on everything. But the first one that really made me go like, homeboy is off his nut in a good way, was a video about angle grinders. And as you can see, I actually have it pulled up. The funny thing about this video, and this is 2 or 3 years old now, but the funny thing about this video is that every single angle grinder he tested except for one was a 4.5-inch angle grinder. However, when it came to the Milwaukee, he tested a 7-inch angle grinder. Somebody get VCG in here. Yeah, I don't care what people think about other countries. I'm wearing my USA shirt, and I'm quite happy with it. But we're watching it as this goes on. The funny thing is, it had rigid, which is why I initially started watching it. But he was testing the different angle grinders, and the rigid came in second. And I'm cool. Like, I don't care if rigid wins or loses. I'm not sleeping with them, so it is what it is. But when you're watching it and you see 4.5-inch versus a 7-inch angle grinder, and then every single different tool had a different amp hour battery. Some of them had a 2 amp hour battery. Some of them had a 4. Well, it just so happens that the biggest one happened to have the biggest battery. It had a 6. And on like that. It's just like such an obvious oversight. Works Pro here had a 4 amp hour battery. He had just tested a Makita that had a 2.5 amp hour battery, which in an 18 or 20 volt tool is a 5 amp hour battery. What's up, Dave? So going in, the Work Pro is at a distinct disadvantage. And let me angle this back up for you a little bit. The Work Pro is at a distinct disadvantage going into this. So would it have mattered? No, because Work Pro is not a high-end tool brand. It would have never won. But this is just one of those things where you can look at it and you go, well, you're putting an inferior tool. What's up, Trevor? You're putting an inferior tool already behind the 8 ball because you're not testing the tools evenly. B-dub, you changed. Watch as much of the tool test as I used to. I have at least 7 or 8 tools of quality as impacts. I don't care that much anymore. Dude, the more I get, the less I watch of other people. What's up, Nick? Nick, how you doing today? Here you go. That is a 7.5-inch angle grinder. Oh no, that's the Craftsman. Never mind. I don't think any of us need to watch Craftsman. Oh, and of course, we get an ad. Hopefully they don't play 2 in a row. How about just it's on the grinder also? That matters a lot. Well, they use the same DeWalt disc. Why it paused, I don't know. But you look at the rigid, and the rigid he used a 4. It's just like all over the place as far as the battery size goes, and in essence, even how the testing is done. because if you're not testing similar, you're throwing in extra variables. What's funny to me is that people, when I show, say, DeWalt, and it loses to whatever brand, right? I get people to absolutely throw a hissy fit because they're like, well, you're testing in wood. Yeah, most common building material on Earth, outside of concrete. So yeah, I use wood. And why? Because that's what you're going to use on the job site. That's why these tools are made. They're not made for concrete. They're not made for brick. An angle grinder, yeah, could you? Sure. Should you? No. Not designed for that. Don't do it. But it's one of those things where you look at these tools, you look at some of the practices of these channels, and you're like, well, what the hell? Here's another example. I'm just going to go, look, best string trimmer. This is the next one that they have up. Sorry, we'll get to skip the ad here in a second. Maybe, or 8, whatever it is. And yeah, sorry. And this is another example from Project Farm. And they are far from the worst at this. But if you go back, he's talking about the ryobi 40 volt. The ryobi 40 volt came with a 4 amp hour string, or a 4 amp hour battery. And batteries matter a lot, especially to any of us that are doing tool testing. As you can see it right there, 4 amp hour battery on that ryobi. The very next one that he tests is an Eco. And the Eco is going to have a 2.5 amp hour battery. You cannot tell me that the results are the same, or that it would be similar or even close if they had the exact same amp hour battery. Here's the Eco. He's pulling it out, he's talking about it. 2.5 amp hour battery right there. Does that change the testing? Yes. That absolutely changes the testing. And this is one of the most watched channels on all of YouTube, Project Farm. The dude did a video today and it's got over 200,000 views on it in 6 hours. And I don't know when this one was made, 2 years ago or whatever. But the fact of the matter is he doesn't even attempt to admit when the testing could be flawed. And the testing could be flawed because you're not using the same amp hour batteries. What's up, Juan? Yeah, Cody, I know. Oh, and it gets worse. Like, continuously, he'll use and the string trimmer. I think he ends up using a 6 amp hour flex volt or maybe a 9 amp hour flex volt battery for the DeWalt, which the DeWalt ended up being the winner. It also happened to have the biggest battery. Doesn't take a genius to figure out why or how. There's another channel called Tools and Stuff. Now they're smaller. I'm not gonna bother pulling their stuff up. But there's another channel out there called Tools and Stuff. They got the 860 before we did. They tested the 860 before we did. When they tested the 860 against the Milwaukee, in a video that they have since edited because I called it out so many times, they had, in the original when they were doing it, they had showed a 1.7 power stack battery on the 860. Perfect. That's what they had been testing the entire time against the 845, the 850. I got no problem with it. They showed a 3 amp hour battery on the Milwaukee. Great, fine, got no problem with it. What I ended up having a problem is when it came to the actual testing, the real testing that they did, without informing their viewers of a battery change, they put a 5 amp hour power stack battery on the 860 and left a 3 amp hour battery on the Milwaukee. Would it have changed anything? I don't know. Could it? Yeah. And that's the issue, right? These do, what's up, South Florida Tools? Michael, hey y'all. What DIY brand would you recommend for OPE that comes apart in the middle? Like string trimmer, pole saw, etc. DIY level, like, it's kind of hard to argue with or against ryobi because their OPE is massive. They have so many things, and right now a lot of the 40 volt stuff is on discount or clearance. There you go. You like Heart? I like the Heart too, but man, I have the Heart, the 40 volt Heart, and I don't recommend it. It's okay, but I don't recommend it. No, it's just one of these things, like you go through and you like, and I might be watching channels a little differently than you do because I am a content creator. This is what I do now that I am retired. Now that I'm retired, like, I don't have anything to do. Thank you. Hi. And when I watch tool testing videos, I am watching them as a content creator, going, what I have done the same thing as they're doing on theirs. And for the most part, I'm like, yeah, it's completely fine. But every once in a while, and with certain channels, you're gonna notice a big difference. For instance, we all love Torque Test Channel. I love them. I think their information is great. I love their presentation style. Like, everything about Torque Test Channel, I absolutely like. However, and I can do that however all day. However, did you notice that they don't always use the same size battery? Well, I can't say that. I can say on certain brands they won't use the same size battery. Which, hey, batteries are expensive. YouTube is expensive. I get it. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up, people. You know, 218 of you in here and only 16 thumbs up. What's wrong with you? Rodney, this is just a string trimmer. You just change the head. That's easy, dude. I would show you if I wanted to. I've done a video on how to do it. 305 at one point. Yeah, there you go. And I know we're doing the mobile and it's a little harder to hit the thumbs up and all that. You got to go like through a bunch of bullshit. I'm a cat. I don't have thumbs. Well, I knew you were a pussy the whole time, so it's not really a news flash there, Panther. Thank you, Michael. So let's just say there are other channels that have some of these, including Torque Test Channel. I'm going to show you theirs, and then we're going to get back to our regular scheduled conversation for the evening, because this is the last one I have. I want you to do something for me. I'm going to flip this around. They're going to be talking about the 860, right? This is their one from, I think it was a week ago, right after we had gotten the 860. And I want you to pay special attention when the rigid comes out. And I know I'm going to say rigid a lot in this, or I've been pointing it out, but that's because a lot of you guys come at me with the rigid stuff. You and your Makita boys enjoying your month? Yeah, we call it Shaka month. It's Shaka. As a matter of fact, when a guy gets one in the backside, we call it a Shaka Gillis. So yeah, the pretty little graph, I really like that. They make an amazing graph content. You can really see this as it goes. And I think what they do is great. Look at the size battery they have on the DeWalt when they're testing it. You see a 5 amp hour on the DeWalt. they end up using, I believe, a 6 or an 8. The 5 right there is great. Forged battery on the Milwaukee, a lithium pouch cell battery on the Flex. We saw that. Maybe I saw it, but I hope you guys saw it. Makita, I don't know what battery they end up using on that. But watch the battery that they use on the Rigid when it comes up here in a second. And I know it's coming up because I watched this earlier. Because they do something that is very, very deceptive. So by just using a 4 amp hour, or by using a 5 amp hour battery on the DeWalt, 6 amp hour, whatever, on the others, they're already giving them quite a boost. Using lithium pouch cell batteries on any of the tools is going to give them a boost. Well, Rigid, Makita, Bosch, so many others don't have it. Only 3 of them have it right now. And there's the Makita. Don't buy one of those. They're a piece of trash. There's the Rigid 4 mode. And I'm going to pause it. So 2.5 amp hour battery on the 40 volt Makita, which is really a 5 amp hour battery if it were an 18 volt tool. And for whatever reason, they like to compare sizes. I've never measured mine that way, but cool. What about Snap-on? What about Snap-on? Oh, Jesus. I don't know what we're getting out of this one, but cool. And I think this is the part when they compare when they put the Rigid battery on. Boom. You see what size battery is on there? They put a 4 amp hour battery on the Rigid. 5 minimum on everything else. And yes, I know a 2.5 on a 40 volt Makita, which is really a 5 amp hour battery in an 18 volt tool. The smallest battery goes on the Rigid. They test it. And yes, in fact, they do test it with the smaller battery on it. And there you can see it right there. 4 amp hour battery on the Rigid. So they're already taking a $129 tool and they're making it look weaker than it really is when compared to comparable size battery levels. And batteries, again, play a huge part in this. And it doesn't matter to me because I know the difference. Like, I've used the tools and I really know what's going on with this. And I am in the minority. I'm assuming a lot of the guys that are on here are already. Does Rigid? No, Rigid does not make. Well, they did make a 5 amp hour battery. They don't anymore. Or at least I can't find one anymore. Oh, that was Torque Test Channel. That was Torque Test Channel. I was just showing that they some of the deceptive practices of the tool channels, and it's to gain subscribers. That's what they're doing it for. Rigid, not a big following, but if you badmouth a company or you badmouth a product, people just kind of gravitate toward it. They're like, oh, cool. Because negativity sells. Vaginal Cream Group, or Vagicream Group, they are by far the most deceptive. Like, you can literally go through just about any one of their videos and find deception in it. Said never disrespect is no. It's not a. I like Rigid. I'm a Rigid guy. Everybody knows that. That's why when things like what we're showing here come up, people reach out to me and they're asking for my opinion. I get emails on it. People hit me up on Facebook, whatnot, and like if any of you have ever commented, you know I'm going to comment back. Nothing wrong with Rigid, no. So just looking at it and knowing already that you can basically take the testing numbers for rigid and throw them out, if you know. But if you're a consumer and you're watching this and you're wondering, well, what brand should I get into or whatever? Well, this torque test channel inadvertently, I believe that inadvertently made the rigid look poor. We've shown it in similar batteries that it is actually exceptionally good, and especially for the value. Now, am I defending rigid? No, I'm just telling this goes for any of them. But we have shown it to be exceptionally good, the rigid in particular, and a best value out there. A lot of people like Hercules, $99 for a Hercules. Great tool. Is it the best? No. But is it competitive? Absolutely. I'm going, what did I miss out on? So the rigid had a 4 amp hour battery. Everything else had a 5 amp hour compared to watt hours or above. And the rigid looked the worst. Well, actually the Makita looked the worst, but that's because we all know Makita is absolutely garbage. But Milwaukee and Flex had lithium pouch cell batteries on it. So their numbers are gonna look inflated or conflated. And it's just deceptive. But they also know that DeWalt has a ton of fangirls out there. Milwaukee has a ton of fangirls out there. They've all seen Flex outperform both. So conflated, hey, Rowdy, however you get your thing going, it's good. It is what it is. Yep. What is this? We didn't compare Ridge's numbers to any pouch cell or six. Really? I've got your video up, and I'm not knocking you, but I just so happen to have your video up. Rigid. The graph is there, sir. It's on the screen. What's the battery on that Milwaukee there? Rigid's on the screen, by the way. That's a 5. Rigid had a 4. That's exactly what I'm saying. The rigid came in already down. The batteries do matter. You know that. And I'm not knocking you. I like what you do. I'm simply explaining that a lot of that is or can be construed as deceptive. Believe me, I get it all the time. Anytime I use a different battery, everybody is that. Rigid did have a 5 amp hour battery. Yeah, I know you're upset. I get it. 2.5 amp hour battery on a 40 volt Makita, which is a 5 amp hour battery on an 18 volt tool if you look at the watt hours. I've already said all this. I've already talked about it. I'm not knocking you guys in any way, shape, or form. I'm simply saying that this isn't comparable to any 2P18. Okay. What's the battery on the Flex? Is it a 5? Because when you did there's a 5 on the DeWalt. Because when they did the testing for the others, I'm not criticizing you. You're taking it as criticism. I am simply explaining that for an uninformed person that is watching this, they're going to, and by the way, you just compared them, but they're going to look at this and they're going to say, well, the rigid isn't as good as it is. And it's rigid. I don't care. Right? Thank you, Miami. Okay, the fingers are unnecessary because they're not doing anything wrong. I am simply explaining that if somebody doesn't know, they don't understand, the differences in the battery. And believe me, I get it. Every single day, people don't understand the differences in the battery technology that's out there. So for the uninformed consumer that's watching this and wondering what tools to get, and they're looking at this stuff and they're like, oh, right, well, the rigid's not performing up to Miami or up to the Milwaukee or to the Flex on this graph, right? Is it, and I said it, not done on purpose, right? I've said that several times already, not done on purpose, but when you're watching it and you see this, as an uninformed consumer, you're going, well, the rigid's just not as good. Sorry, I got to take that off now. And again, it's not a criticism of Torque Test Channel, just like it's not a criticism of Project Farm. Now, it was a criticism of VCG because they were purposely deceptive, and we showed it. It's 4 amp hours versus 5. Rigid doesn't make a 5. What are you supposed to use? To be honest with you, I came across the same issue, right? I talk about it. I mention it. Difference in batteries does make a difference. And I do mention it. And I didn't hear any, I may have missed it, but I didn't hear any explanation there. Not a criticism. Don't take it that way, because it's not meant to be that way. But when you're one of the largest, most widely viewed tool testing channels on YouTube and probably on all of social media, one of the most trusted, and when that trust is, I won't say violated because it's not the right word, but when it's in question, you should expect people to question it. I do. I don't have anywhere near the viewership or followers that you do. I'm just talking to you, Torque Test Channel, right now. Talking to you. Not being mean, which is my typical MO. I'm kind of an asshole. I admit it. But when people talk to me about the battery, I'll explain to them. I use the best battery available for that brand. Now, if you're using a 4 amp hour battery for the rigid and a 5 amp hour battery for everything else, you could say, hey, the numbers for the rigid may have been better if we had a different battery. Or you could have shown a different battery in the testing. Again, small criticism there. Small. It means absolutely nothing to 99.9% of the people in the world. And probably even higher than that, almost 100%. It's simply a statement of fact that you had put the rigid in the worst possible position compared to some of the best tools on the market by having them use a smaller battery. There you go. And again, and I'll explain it again, the Makita, even though it had a 2.5 amp hour battery, you look at the watt hours on it, it's, what is it, like 108? Trying to remember off the top of my head. 108 watt hours on that, and I think it's a 90 watt hours on the rigid. So already watt hours matter, because that's how long it can go up. What's up, creature? That's how long it can go on that wattage. So, and voltage drop is the biggest factor in tools. As far as I'm not criticizing. I'm simply pointing it out. That's it. Don't take offense. Not meant to be offending. Right now, if you were Vince over at the Vagicream Group, that might be different, because I think he's purposely deceptive. I don't think you were purposeful in it, and I don't think you were deceptive. I'm just simply pointing it out. There you go. And again, not a criticism of you guys, just an informed person watching it versus an uninformed person watching it. And we all love your channel. I love it. I watch it. I comment every now and again. So you know I watch your channel. I'm not arguing with anybody. I'm simply explaining. And it is what it is. Thank you. And Project Farm, I don't think Project Farm is deceptively doing things or doing things deceptive on purpose. I think it's just a matter of like, I love to test tools as they come kitted. So if if I had the tablets, I'd get you that. I test tools as kitted most often. When they come in, that is how I do it. Now, if I buy a bare tool, I will test it with the best battery that I have available for that tool, but I will compare it to like as much as I can. My 1,200 inch pound Hitachi smoke saw. All right, Lazy. That's I appreciate that, especially since Hitachi changed their name to Hikoki outside of the North America and Metabo HPT within North America. So there you go. Be a visual disclaimer: the graphics battery is different from the, anything like that. That's great. That's a great suggestion, you boy. If they do that, that's great, and it is what it is. I didn't anticipate them being here, so I apologize to you guys. We kind of got sidetracked because I had planned on going back to our regular chit chat about tools and life and whatnot already. Hilti all day. I don't rent my tools. Frank, that's pretty funny. I don't know if it's worth 10 times as much either. There's no Hilti store around me, and that's really one of the bad things about Hilti. Thank you, Todd. If Hilti had a store around me, I would probably have Hilti. I can tell so hike if he needed, not live. Go ahead, tell me. Tell me to take a hike, Juan. Okay, Lazy, you do what you need to do. Well, that was fun. Again, so I'm looking at that, like, I look at stuff as a content creator and someone that is, somebody loved meth. That's kind of a weird thing to say. I don't know why you would say that, because what the fuck? How do I help my friend who has ryobi tools to detox? Is there a ryobi anonymous group? If buying ryobi tools hasn't dissuaded him yet, there's little to no help for him. The best thing you can do is like hand him a good tool. Somebody get rid of that dude that's talking about meth. Drugs, not really. We're not really here for drugs. We're not here to talk politics or any of that. We don't want to see any of that shit. Anyway, so what I would do is I would give him a good tool and just have him use it. And even a layman can tell the difference between how a ryobi hits and how a good tool hits. Thank you, Shaka. I appreciate that. Hi, Seven Catter, I'm gonna say. Hi. So even a layman can tell the difference between a ryobi and a good tool, and just give it to them. You'll see me when I test ryobi tools. I will typically give them a bigger battery than their competition, because I need to make it more competitive. And a lot of the times when I am using different size batteries, it is to make it competitive. Any outdoor tools recently that I should get as well? Well, Michael, I just got, shoot, I'm trying to think. I just got the rigid string trimmer last year, and that's been really good. Replaced my 40-volt heart, and it has more balls than the 40-volt heart. The Milwaukee chainsaws are really good. The Flex Volt chainsaw is probably the best that's out there. But if you're looking for OPE, dude, look at Ego. Remember to hit the like button. Thank you. I wouldn't give a ryobi tool to the guy asking for change on the corner. Paul W., man, that's rough. I would. DeWalt colorless chainsaw, yeah. Oh, very nice, Michael. I absolutely would give a I would give a ryobi to a dude on the corner. They deserve it. What about Texas chainsaw? Never heard of them. He's using them at home. Anyway, I thought it would be interesting as we went through those, what, 3 or 4 examples of showing you guys kind of how tool channels can, it's not manipulate, but how they can affect the results. Whereas Kikuchi is sick. A few ryobi batteries for my basic tools. I got a ryobi 40 volt battery around here somewhere, but no charger. No tools to go with it. No, I am not cracking an egg on my head. Texas chain, oh. No, as a matter of fact, Shaka, it was. I think he was going through some of his old stuff and got sick there. Tanner Jewell. Hi. Kind of weird. Just want a shout out, I guess. Texas Chainsaw. What is this with you guys? What is the conversation you guys are having? Am I missing something here? I want to know. AVE. God, I used to watch everything that he did and really AVE was my favorite for a long time. And then he did one on chicken albumin. And I was like, oh, okay. He's gotten to the point where he can talk about anything and people are going to watch. And I was kind of like, that was not the last video, but that was one of the last videos of his I made it a point of watching. And I was like, cool. I love him. I think he's great. I kind of just fell out of love with him, I guess. Well, he is Canadian, so got that going for him. What's wrong? So tactics, he was going through some of his, I think it was old clothes or something, and something about a picture frame, and he ended up getting sick because it had microtoxins, and he's still very susceptible. Power scrubbers, only Ryobi and Craftsman make them. I'm very hesitant to buy in either brand. Yeah, I don't blame you there, Slope. Of the two, I would go with Ryobi over Craftsman. One benefit of VCG, it led me to well, thanks, Panther. Skew the results, I think is the word you were. There you go, B-Dub, thank you. Yes, skew. You can skew the results with some of these practices. And it's unintentional. Well, except for Vagicream Group. I know, Sharouche. It's unintentional except for Vagicream Group, but it is what it is. I mean, like if we don't talk about it, if we can't have an open forum about it, then why would we bother watching? Why would we care to watch? And it's not like I'm insulting anybody when I say, well, Vagicream. Who's that other guy? The Total Retard Zone. What's his name? I forgot. I look familiar. Is that my brother? I don't. Thunder Vision. Are you Jason? Clint. There you go. I can only remember the 1990s. I got drunk one night at a bar and got the tribal armband because I thought it would make me look cool. And now that he's gotten older, it kind of looks like a mistake. The boss of it all wants a shout out. Hi. Flint, whatever his name is. That dude is the easiest sellout you can point to. And sellout maybe a little too harsh. But this dude literally go, I will never have Flex on my channel until Flex sent him a bunch of tools and maybe a little something else, but we know they sent him a bunch of tools. And then he was like, oh, I love Flex. They're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I'm just sitting there like, you lied to me once. You lost your integrity in my eyes. Do I have blue eyes? No. Why? You're not my wife, and I'm not sleeping with you. You don't really need to know. Fucking hey. That's the thing. Like, if I say, like, I don't like Makita, flat out hate them. Overpriced, underperforming, underpowered garbage. I do not like Makita. If you don't want to listen to me about Makita, cool. If you're a Makita guy and you don't want to be here because I don't like Makita, even better. I don't really need it. I think 56 million people have watched me. I can do without a few ryobi or a few Makita guys. I'll say this. I will buy a Craftsman, a Ryobi, a Hyper Tough before I buy a Makita. It's Pride Month. That's true. I shouldn't be bad-mouthing Makita in Pride Month. They are the only tool brand that comes in every color of the rainbow. Does it matter that I'm saying it doesn't really matter. Like, there you go. Makita fans holding the lighters in the sky, especially in Pride Month. Thank you, Charles. I'm doing great. I'm feeling pretty good right now. Don't let the damn right, Dave. Makita is the plus in the LGBTQ. Man, I did that video and I was like, I hope I remember all the letters. Thanks. I guess. Nope. No unwanted sexual advantages here. I don't hit on any of you. You don't hit on me. We're good. We do, Rodney. We have a Pride Month. Well, day. Mother's Day and Father's Day. Figure that one out. I don't really. What? My eyes are bluer. $38 purple impact dryer. B-dub, if you picked up a Makita for $38, you got robbed, my man. Oh, Grandparents' Day. There you go. And Christmas. Never mind. Never mind that last one. What the fuck is Juneteenth? Was it I don't remember off the top of my head, and I don't want to say the wrong thing. You're gonna flirt with me? I'm good, Panther. He is Santa. He looks like Santa. He got the figure of Santa. SoAlz is the next Santa. No, I just got the belly. But I don't like people touching me, let alone sitting on my lap. Why you have a USA shirt in Russia colors? Red, white, blue. Last time I looked at the American flag, those were the colors on it. Yeah, I know what. Yeah, Rod. I actually think it was the day Brown. What was the fort that he attempted to liberate? It's a Black Liberation Day anyway. We wanted to see the DC 1000. So do I. I'm really, drills are my thing. Like, I enjoy drills. I would rather use a drill than just about any other tool aside from my table saw and my miter saw. A drill is my favorite. French Russia flag that says USA. Jimmy, you don't have to be here. Somebody said he hates happiness. Fuck it. Hate what you gotta hate, buddy. I don't have a Russian accent. I don't know how to do a Russian accent. Da. There you go. That's it. Paul W., your drill dough is your favorite? Next to your fleshlight? Wow. Some guy's going to be really happy when he gets with you. Yes, you have a Russian accent. Really? Funny. And the purple Japanese version, cheap to try. Oh, okay. B-dub, I wouldn't. $38 is too much to spend on Makita for me. It's just, I've not had a Makita tool that I enjoyed using. I don't have those tiny hands that a lot of dudes have. I have man hands. This Monsanto and this other dude, fuck them both. Get rid of them. Monsanto, fuck you. Laughable to work all your life and become president. Yeah, apparently you become president just to shit your pants for the D-Day celebration. South Ohio, no. New York. I'm a New Yorker. I'm living in Missouri and I'm a New Yorker. Spent 17 years in South Carolina before I went to New York, though. So I don't really have an accent. I just speak, I don't know, English. It's because of the shirt, buds. I've got a USA shirt on, and they're being idiots. Went to the store to show the OnePlus Bosch dishwasher, and a salesman comes over trying to pitch a kitchen. Wow. I do speak asshole-ish. That is true. I am an American. Dude, I got two flags outside, and one says "fuck your feelings" and the other's the American flag, and they are flown in the correct order. The American flag first, fuck your feelings a second. Yeah, no, I can do a New Yorker for you, no problem. I got it in my repertoire, but no, I don't use this very often. It actually only comes out when I'm tired, and I'm not tired right now. But yo, I got it. But I prefer to speak like this. Thank you. I do know how to enunciate. People don't like the way I say Bosch. I don't know why. Oh, Panther has a Miss Kita accent. That must mean he speaks with a lisp. Oh, you want me to do Arnold? I don't do a very good Arnold. Arnold's not one of my many impressions that I do. Now I can do the American Dream. Dust the souls for you anytime I want, because it's dust the souls coming at your ass. My honey's just a little bit big. My belly's just a little bit big. But I'm bad and they know I'm bad. Speak like a Puerto Rican? No, I cannot speak like a Puerto Rican. Sorry. Mi raza is not you raza. I can't do Christopher Walken, sorry. Keep wearing that. Dude, this is my favorite. Like, I got this shirt last month, and I love this shirt. I absolutely love it. What about Raj just saw? I don't know who that is. Moron. Well, Moron right here. I can bring him out anytime I want. Moron is one of my favorite characters. He is someone I will play on the phone to to telemarketers when they call, I'm like, well, yo, you've reached Mo, Ron. How you doing? Juan, I can't imitate your voice. Sorry. Do Adam Sandler. I don't have to do Adam Sandler. I sound like Adam Sandler, which is funny because we live blocks away from each other. you need to escape Canada, dude. All you have to do is just tell them at the border that you're from another country other than the United States. They'll let you right in. I can't do Matthew McConaughey. Everyone from far away, the saltwater screen seems cuckoo. I don't know what that means. He lives by you. Well, he doesn't live by me anymore. I think he's off in California and I'm over in Missouri. He does a little bit better than I am. What's up, John? How you doing, man? Did you guys have fun tonight? Was that entertaining? Like that opening part of it and showing you all the different tactics that some of these channels either inadvertently or purposefully do. Good. Missouri. Nice. Glad I'm not there. We're glad you're not here either. Think when the 860 is released in other countries, it will address some of the concerns you brought up. Man, torque test channel is great, but I didn't have a battery issue. They did using the power stack battery. I didn't have it, and they did. Now, as far as the collet issue, yeah, I think that'll be addressed. The trigger issue, I don't think they'll address that because they didn't address it in the 845. The heat issue, I don't think they can address it. And the battery consumption, the vibration, the imbalance of the tool, and the fact that it's uncomfortable and unwieldy to hold, I don't think any of those will get addressed. Thank you, Sharush. I try to be entertaining. I have to watch again, enjoying it. No worries, Sharush. Torque Test channel was a pleasant surprise. It's always nice to have like one of those bigger channels show up, and I always appreciate it. I was trying to be very convivial and explain my point of view to them, and as somebody that knows tools but thinking of people that don't. What is the absolute worst tool you ever tested, including Hyper Tough and brands like that? Ooh. There are two that we cut in half on a live stream. And the Just Some drill, the JSD Hope, I think it was called, and the Hayapu drill. And we cut both of them in half live. And they were absolutely terrible. As far as name brands, I can't even hold the 40 volt Makita comfortably because their handles are so small. And to me, like, they always stick out as the worst. Because if you can't hold the tool, if it's not comfortable to hold, you don't ever want to use it, which just means you're throwing money away if you buy it. What's up, girl? I think it's possible the vibration on the 860 you could feel be due to metric collet. No. If you watch Torque Test channel and they did the tear apart, the collet isn't the reason why you're getting that vibration. It's the hammer, the anvil mechanism is the reason that you're getting that. Is the spring. The spring allows for that hammer to come all the way back as opposed to stopping short of hitting the housing. And that's where you're getting a lot of that vibration from. So it's just absolutely terrible. Bunch of Craftsman tools, most likely 20 volt inflator. What? You got in my algorithm somehow. I just have a, well, that's all right, James. It's cool, man. Hydraulic impact driver is supposed to release. You know, I'm surprised it's not out. With the 860 being out, I thought it would be out at the same time. Let's think. That's what you were thinking. I missed it. Is it 6.3? No, it's still a quarter collet, but it takes the double. It's a JIS collet, so it's kind of not an American collet. It'd be nice. It's not an American collet, so it's definitely noticeable. We just had this discussion with them, as a matter of fact. I thought that some of it was, most of it was very good. And then I thought that some of it was maybe poorly planned. But as far as like the 860, I think the 860 is a great power tool that is horrible to use. Like, as an end user, it's horrible. The first day I used it, I could feel the vibrations up to my shoulder. And I've never felt that from a tool until you started reviewing the Gen 4 Milwaukee stuff. So about 2 years. What was your Gen 3 impact driver? Dude, I love the Gen 3. The collet's the only issue. Yeah, there was somebody that was posing as, like, taking my videos and posting on their channel, and I had to do a bunch of stuff for them. Yeah, the vibration on it's horrible. The clamshell, it doesn't have the traditional grip of a DeWalt. It actually goes thin, then fat, then thin again. And I tried to show it in my video today. And just using it, like, everything about it is just a bad experience. I love the Gen 3. As far as impact drivers go, I'd say the Gen 3 is probably my favorite. It's very close with the Gen 4. The Gen 3 and the Gen 4 are very close. I get a little more control with the Gen 3 than I do the Gen 4. You got Sunex? It's cool. Only older brush tools with a battery line brand would you recommend getting into? It depends on your trade. If you're a shop guy, like if you're in the shop, DeWalt. If you're out in the field, Milwaukee. A lot of guys will think it's reversed, but not me. Bigger. I missed it. Just ordered over $200 of those Ernest modular wrench organized. Sweet, Shaka. That's great. Let me know how it works out for you. Shout me out, please. Okay, sassy girl. Think Milwaukee pressure washer ever dropped? Maybe MX Fuel Line? I don't know. You can check on their patents. Their patents usually let you know 6 months to a year before anything comes out. They got tabless batteries coming out, Rigid, Milwaukee, Makita. They all have tablets that, you know, you don't have to wait for Tool Channel to tell you when that stuff's coming out if you look at patents that are pending. Thanks, Sharouge. Yeah, this shout me out garbage, I don't know where that comes from. That's just lonely people, I guess. I don't fucking know. The only complaint with the Cobalt recip saw is the blade. I think if you used a different recip saw, you would have a lot more issues with that Cobalt. Walt Ryobi has dropped pressure washer and surprised Milwaukee. Well, that's probably it. I mean, the Ryobi has so many. I think Ryobi has like 4 or 5. Cobalt simply because of the warranty. I understand. What's a tabless battery? So a tabless battery, they're going to be different than the traditional style in that they're going to be smaller, but they're going to provide more power. How it works or whatever goes into it, I don't really know. Fizzy Lush, fuck you too. What do you think of the DeWalt screwdriver? The gyroscopic one? Never used it, but it looks interesting. Has Rio? Ugh. Sorry, Rod. Does Lowe's replace Irwin hammers for a warranty like Craftsman? I have no idea. If mine breaks, then I just replace it. I actually love that thing. Never tried it, Cody. I have never tried it. It looks amazing. So I've never tried it. I am looking for a new tool this month to bring later in the month. I've got a laser engraver video that I'm hoping to work on and get out to y'all. 850 or wait for the 850. Actually, the 845. I would take the 845 over either the 850 or the 860. Personal preference there, Trevor, but I would take the 845 over either of them. We've broken 3 850s in light usage, and just using the 860, I don't think it's going to be durable enough for the field. I think that you don't have that issue with the 845 outside. The only issue I've ever had with the 845 is a trigger issue, but I got a trigger issue with the 860. But the 850s is as close to a disposable tool as I've ever seen. That's not a disposable tool. Just curious. Looks like a lot of fun. It does look like a lot of fun. Chinese food with you're waiting on Chinese food with pizza and some Subway. Okay. Someone send me a DeWalt Reese's size since I don't get. No, Rodney. I love that size though. Trevor, the problem is the 850 breaks too easily. Every issue that you can have with an impact driver lives in the 850. Collet lets loose. The trigger doesn't always respond, and the fact that it'll just break. Like you'll go to do something and it'll just not do anything. It's as close to a disposable tool as I've ever seen. Luke, no. Sorry, man. I apologize to you, Trevor. Yeah, I'm just telling you the truth. I don't know. A lot of people wanting a shout out. Here's who I'll shout out. Dr. Left Hand Thread. Dr. Left Hand Thread is an amazing channel. This man knows more about power tools and the inner workings of power tools than I will ever know. He takes them apart and he repairs them for a living. He is absolutely phenomenal at what he does. Impact Nation Tools. Here's another shout out I'd love to give. That dude's a hard working family man, and I have nothing but respect for him, his past, and what he is doing. Joe the Tool Guy, personal friend. I think he's phenomenal. Philly Fixed was here earlier. Again, another great person, and got nothing but respect for Philly Fixed. Go check out Diligent Dave. I know Dave is here as well. And Caleb Ross. If you want to know the channels that I'm watching, those are them. Oh, Sarah just showed up. What's up, Sarah? But with that, my friends, we are out of here. I got videos to make. You got videos to watch. And some of them might involve people with clothing. I don't really know. Yeah. So for all you Makita guys out there, don't forget, blow them like you know them. And for the rest of you. Oh, and whoever Chicken Z is, Chicken Z, thank you very much. For all the rest of you, don't forget, manscape like you landscape. If you trim your bush, your deck will always look big.